Four of Swords. 4-4. 7-7, 7-7-7, 4-4, 4-4-4, all those numbers, and also even 6-6 have kind of been haunting a lot of my readings the last couple months, so those could be synchronistic numbers for you. Four of Swords is about resting and healing after a very difficult time, and then I just pulled the Six of Wands. To become victorious, you must rest. You must overcome this heartbreak, this hardship. You have to face your emotional traumas for some of you. It requires a lot of inner work. It requires going deep. It requires looking at your psyche and your subconscious. That's the true work. You master your emotions, you master your mind, and you can master your physical reality. Some people are more fortunate. Maybe perhaps they came into this life with good karma, right? And they are born into a position of privilege where perhaps they have healthy families that nurture them and teach them to be independent, successful people. But for most people in this world, family systems and dynamics are so incredibly imbalanced because of the way our society teaches us to act in the 3D world, that there are many, many adult broken children out there who are having to learn how to integrate this peace within themselves in order to just simply succeed. Some people are just trying to get by, and that feeling of trying to get by is being confined by the way we think it's supposed to be. I'm getting a little quantum here. I'm going to leave it at that. I want to go deeper, but I'm not going to. 8 of Wands. Again, this is the second time we have 8 of Wands. Except this is in a more positive energy. We're not talking about the spiritual attack. This could be about moving forward quickly. What are we moving forward towards, Spirit? Oh my goodness, with the Piscean energy, the High Priestess. We are moving towards the freaking High Priestess, a companion card to the Hanged One, Pisces card. Whew, 5 of Cups though. We got a lot of emotions to go through to get there though for some of you. Some of you are literally going to a High Priestess figure. That's a highly intuitive, psychic person. Or a person of spiritual authority who usually keeps to themselves. It's also spiritual wisdom, again, going inward with the Hanged Man here and the High Priestess, becoming the High Priestess. Some of you are initiating into the role of the High Priestess. The Hanged Man is also known to be Odin, hanging from the World Tree, Yggdrasil, right? It's being suspended and sacrificing yourself for a certain amount of time to the divine to become the supreme being. And I'm speaking very quantum here. I'm not saying that anybody's going to become a superhero if you put your mind to it, though energetically, perhaps possibilities are limitless. And the thing about Pisces energy, I think this is a good time to talk about this now. See, Pisces is the 12th sign of the zodiac. It's the very end of the wheel. It's the elder of all the signs, which means it has experienced every single energy of every single sign in its soul. I say it's, them, there to be non-gender specific, gender specific, okay? So, just FYI, if you're wondering why I say it's, I'm not trying to like dehumanize anyone or myself. It's just for brevity of openness. Anyways, I felt like somebody wanted to understand that, so I don't usually explain myself, but there you go. The High Priestess is all 12 signs of the zodiac. It is every energy. It is integrating and having compassion for all. Some people who understand astrology know that Aquarius, the sign before, is sort of the humanitarian of the zodiac, right? They are the ones that bring communities together. They're the philanthropists, the ones that go out and make a difference in society, right? And they represent great healing and also ascending to heal others, like a light worker, right? The star card, which we had at the beginning. So it's like you're coming into this life having that understanding. You don't have to be a Pisces for this energy to represent. And again, we all have every sign in our chart. So perhaps look at where you have Pisces in your chart. It might give you some more insight into your soul. And yes, I offer astrology readings as well if you're interested. So Knight of Cups, interesting. After I pulled the Five of Cups, we're talking about the High Priestess here, right? And then I pull the Hierophant in reverse. That is the second time I have pulled that. Somebody, this is a side message, but I gotta talk on it because you're here too. Somebody does not believe in any of this. Yeah, and then I see the Devil card. Some of you are heavily judging me and others who are on the spiritual path. And you know what? That's okay. Know that I have compassion for you too. And then I pull the Star card. I wish you healing as well. You don't have to believe in what I believe. My beliefs are so vast and unimaginable as a Pisces. I don't expect most people to get me. And that's okay. I don't need your approval, and neither does anyone else. I think definitely this message could apply to you. Take all the woo-woo out of it. Take it all out. Strip it down to the bare bones, darling. Why don't you look at your heart? Look in the mirror, your reflection, your water, your soul, your depth. Why don't you challenge yourself instead of challenging others to feel what you really feel, to know yourself. You know, Spirit was giving me a download the other day. I don't know how much I want to go into this, but everything in this world is a choice. And then again, there are privileges to some, right? And there's access that is involved. And a lot of our 3D constructs restrict. But when you become free in your mind, and that includes not judging other people for their beliefs, when you become free in your mind and you focus on your self-development and you become a better person and you see your world change, you prove it to yourself. That's how faith is gained. It's not forced upon you. It's received. You have to be a willing participant, not only in your life, but in your faith in order to ascend to a higher purpose if you are on the spiritual path. And once you're awakened, you are awakened. How far you go with that awakening is up to each and every soul's journey. But there is no going back. So some of you can hide your head in the sand and you can pretend that this stuff isn't real. You can deny it. You can hate on others. You can project. I mean, that's the thing. When we often are not comfortable with certain parts of ourselves, when we see it reflected in others, we naturally want to attack it and tear it down. Those of us that are evolved understand that that comes from unhealed wounds. And we check our projections, we transmute them, and we work on the healing work within ourselves, and we do better. And that doesn't make us like thinking that we are holier than thou or this supreme spiritual wise person. I may mention that I have the traits of the Hierophant, but it's to help you understand the correlation between the Taurus aspects with my Taurus North Node, my life destiny, my path is to be a spiritual teacher. It's one of my parts of my path, right? Because we are not all one thing. You over-identify with yourself, then you become attached to the ego, right? And this isn't about ego. This is about surrender. This is about trusting the divine. And when you trust the divine take you to places you couldn't go before. And then your mind is blown, okay? Everything I speak on, I do with integrity and to help benefit people. Strength card. Strength card again. Second time that card has come out. Strength. That's right. Just like many of you here today, I've had to go through some incredible, challenging, sometimes downright terrifying things in my life to become as strong as I am. I'm not some privileged person sitting in my fancy house, like completely out of touch with reality. You know, there's a lot of people who have put me down and people down like me thinking that we're just completely out of touch. No, you don't get it. We feel so much. Those of us that have done the work and can understand our feelings, we feel so much. We have such strong empathy for the world that we literally have to reserve ourselves for a select few because the world has broken us before. Because people have exploited us before. And when people like that go out and try to help the world, try to bring love, that's a blessing. That's not something to make fun of. And if you or anybody you know is making fun of that, it's time to change with the death card in reverse. That could be some of your spiritual awakenings, and I know I'm going to piss some people off. You know what? That's okay. I'm strong, as this card has said. Okay? And it's not just about me, and I'm not just trying to project my own triggers onto others. I've learned how to be responsible with that. And again, it's because I did the work. And the work doesn't have to be like compacted and hard. You don't have to give yourself more tower moments. All you got to do is just day in, day out, put in the work. Figure out what makes you comfortable. And then figure out what makes you uncomfortable. If we put that download I was going to talk about, if we put the energy that some of us put into talking about other people and speculating on things in the world, if we invested that into ourselves collectively, we can create a ripple effect of change in the energetic field. When people say raise the vibration, by working on yourself, you raise the vibration of the collective. And that's why some of us are in this position of spiritual wisdom. That's why some of us have gone through incredibly difficult things in our lives to become people who can help others understand this wisdom. I could feel some strong judgments coming my way, and I just want to say, you know, as weird as this sounds, thank you. This may not be my best reading, or it may be an epic, amazing success. I don't care. If more than one person hears this and it helps shift something for the positive, for growth of the soul, love, compassion, being seen or heard for who you are, then it was worth it. Three of Swords on top of the Empress in reverse. This is a side message. Some of you have had a maternal figure in your life who has broken your heart. Some of you might want to look at mother wounds, especially with the Cancer I Feel card. Cancer is the mother of the zodiac. I'm going to pull out of that message. Thank you for yet again tolerating my passion and my fire. I do it with love and respect, but I don't back down because I used to be a coward and then I changed. Five of Swords. Some of you want to fight me on that. That's all right. You can go. I wish you well. Goodbye. Anyways, to the rest of us, we're overcoming energies that challenge us like this. Anybody who's telling you that you don't have a right to believe, to have faith, to wake up and find a reason to be happy, when you have struggled with that, when you have been through dark nights, when people have turned their backs on you, you have every right to heal. You have every right to do the work on yourself. For those of us that enjoy the work, who actually look forward to the spiritual wisdom, who appreciate being compassionate, be there for others, yet we have strong boundaries. We understand our limits. We're able to make a choice here. We're able to figure out how to stabilize our realities, how to find purpose and meaning, and how to share that with others. Just pulled the Two of Pentacles card. Some of you wish you could change places with somebody, or you compare yourself to others. You're constantly juggling one side of yourself with the other. And that can come with the Five of Swords here, with toxic people who throw you off balance, who try to cause you harm. It can make you feel like you're constantly struggling in life and trying to juggle your security and your sense of self. High of Earth, it's the Page of Pentacles. Move slow. That's what Spirit's telling you. Move slow. Take steady, deliberate steps. Do the work day in and day out. Every offering of your time towards figuring out who you are is an investment in who you are becoming. And those that are loving and supportive are going to see that. Not everybody is out to hurt you. But there is still a lot out there. There's still a lot of toxicity in the world, and it's understandable to be scared to take the less known path here, right? It can be scary to in a time of uncertainty in the world to journey spiritually, but that's actually how you can become whole and feel more safe in a world. Yet again, if you do the work and you find the safety within yourself, you can reflect that out to the rest of the world. It can make an impact on your direct environment and yourself. And we're not doing it for others, we're doing it for ourselves, right? And that's not selfish. That's called being healed. Seven of Wands. Some of you really defend your beliefs. And I think that's great. That's great. I mean, that's what I was just doing. But the thing is to remember that we defend our beliefs by leading by example, not by putting other people down for theirs that are different than our own. Again, I've kind of hinted at tolerance throughout this reading, and I believe tolerance is very important, which is why I can look at somebody who's hating on me and still send them love, because I understand we're all just human. And no, I don't put up with abuse for me or other people I care about, but I do know what is important. I do know what is important to focus on, where I should put my energy, which is something you can learn to do as well. We have yet again the Lovers in reverse. That is the second time that has come out. Some of you feel like you can't make this choice. You don't know where to start to find union with Spirit, to find union with yourself. Spirit, how can these people who are having trouble on their path find what they're looking for? Help them choose. Help them feel like they are the choice. Justice. One more card, Spirit. Six Pentacles upright. We just transmuted that energy. It's your justice to receive this equal give and take. You need to feel like you deserve it. And again, it goes back to self-love. It goes back to self-care. Find ways that you can keep yourself in balance. Find ways that you feel like you're receiving what you deserve, right? What do you deserve? Ask yourself that. What do I deserve? Truly, get down to the heart of it. I think I'm going to pull one or two more cards, and then I might do a psychic read on an oracle card. But I believe we are coming close to the end of this reading. And again, thank you to everyone who quested with us this far. Wow. Queen of Swords again, and it's still upright. For some of you, this is about giving other people their justice. By being balanced, by being fair, by understanding how you can help others, you can bring justice and resolve to other people. Some of you are in a position of authority where you can do that, where you can help people understand things, but do it in a way that you still have your boundaries. And that's the goal, right? To be compassionate yet wise at the same time. That's a goal right there. Ace of Cups upright just transmuted that energy too. We had the Ace of Cups in reverse at the beginning, and we were talking about how y'all, some of you, or y'all can't give your cup of love. You can't do that until you give the love to yourself. So by using your discernment, by being fair to yourself or being fair to others, you're able to give your cup of love. You're able to find a new beginning with spirit and with your emotional evolvement. You're able to find peace and healing and comfort. And you're able to eventually find that great love if that's what you're looking for. You know, for as stern and tough love as I can be, that's really my Taurus moon coming out. I have a very sturdy moon placement for all the water I have in my chart. And for as stern as I seem, I'm actually a deeply compassionate, sensitive, loving person. And I've learned how to be the Queen of Swords, which was actually the hardest queen for me to master out of all the queens. She was the last one. It's not easy to put your boundaries down all the time, but when you know how to have equal give and take and fair exchange in your relationships with others, you receive your justice. You receive what you deserve. You can start new karmic cycles. Four of Cups. And Seven of Pentacles. Some of you are having a hard time figuring out what is emotionally fulfilling in order to invest. Or some of you have been waiting for somebody to emotionally fulfill you, and you don't want to invest. But that's the opposite of what we're talking about here. And no shade on you. I'm just saying, like, if you're expecting somebody else to bring you back to life, so to speak, and get you to do the work by investing in you, you're always going to be waiting for somebody else to save you. Which means you're always going to end up either with somebody, and this could be romantic or not, it could be any dynamic. You're always going to end up feeling like you're waiting for somebody to, how can I put this? To bring meaning. To make you feel like you want to be an active participant in life. And if that's the case, really, I would look at your childhood wounding. Ask yourself where that belief came in that you had to set yourself last and rely on other people to give you pieces of love. Because then it becomes a system of supply and demand, not of equal give and take. And transaction is not the same as equal reaction. What does that mean? It means that if you're giving to expect something back, or you're like, I do this so you do that, that's a transaction of energy. It's also what we do when we work, right? We do work, we get paid. It's a very materialistic and shallow way of looking at loving. That's not real love. I'm sorry. Some of you aren't going to like that I said that, but it's true. That's not real love, whether it's your sibling, your parents, your child, your coworkers, your romantic partner, your friendships. anybody who is a conscious being who can relate with you. Okay? That's also not taking accountability for your own emotional happiness. And it's easy for some people to, it's not easy, but it's habit for some people to expect other people to make them happy. And when they don't, then it's easy to blame those people for not fulfilling what really we should be fulfilling in ourselves. And how do you do that? We go back to the transmutation. We go back to finding something that you can creatively pour into your cup. And creativity, if you're not artistic, it doesn't have to be arts. What makes you feel creative? What makes you feel passionate? Instead of focusing on all these toxic people, and to also get yourself out of emotional despondency, which the Four of Cups can also represent, explore a little. When's the last time you laughed? You want to laugh? I shared an off-the-cuff singing video last night. Let me tell you, I laughed my ass off at the end of that because I bombed the last song so bad. It was a singing practice video, and I'm very authentic, so like I let y'all see everything. I don't edit my stuff except for when I'm making side messages, right? Clips for content. But I don't cut things out. If I screw up, I screw up and I roll with it. So make mistakes. Make good mistakes though. Make new learning mistakes. Again, we go back to the Page of Swords, right? You're looking at studying something. Maybe it's a new way of life. Maybe simply sitting at a park, observing people, observing the way they interact with each other, you know, becoming more aware of other people in real life. So for some people, they haven't quite come back from the way things have changed since 2020, right? So there's a lot of people who are still living very remote lives, living online more than living in the real world. And that's all a construct. It's all perceptions and projections. When you study people and you pay attention to how people interact, and then you study yourself and you learn how to grow and build upon that, you not only become a much more attentive, loving person who has a lot more to offer, but you also can gauge people's true intentions. You can master the art of discernment and using your intellect. And you can also observe your own patterns through mindfulness, through the willingness to be ready to accept judgment upon yourself. You see, if you're looking at the dirt and you're able to process it yourself, you're bound to be a lot less protective against other people because you know your shadow. And also, if you're concerned about other people preying on your vulnerabilities, some of you have had that happen with the Five of Swords in reverse and the King of Cups in reverse. Not to be hypervigilant, not to give into fear response, but you can learn how to observe people and know what their intentions are. And you tap into that intuition, these psychic senses, which I feel like we started with that group and we kind of veered off into multiple groups of the collective. But once you understand your intuition and you can trust it, you can trust yourself, you can learn to trust other people. And people are worth trusting. You know, if you take your head out of all the content that's being projected out there, if you stop doom scrolling or at least cut your stuff down, if you don't go and lose hours upon hours scrolling and then be like, oh wow, what was I doing with my life? And you start to be more in the present moment, you start to find more meaning in life. And when you observe life happening around you, you less focus on how life is happening to you. It can help you have different perspectives. And that's even a form of meditation, believe it or not. You know, maybe just, I've said this before, go to a diner and have a cup of coffee or something and just watch the world around you. I mean, some of you, I gotta ask, how often do you actually note that the person of service that's you're relying on for your food, for your groceries, for your car rides, for your house cleaning for some of you, for your pet care, for who cares? People of service, people out there working normal jobs, doing normal things. How often do you actually look at them as a human being and try to have a conversation with them? How often do you make a point of saying, hey, I see you? You want human kindness? Start giving human kindness. I've worked service jobs. I know what I'm talking about. I've also been that person who's been totally ignored and felt like a freaking robot. And I've worked in work environments that made me feel that way, who didn't encourage loving support. So some of you really need to find loving support out there. And then I pull the Knight of Pentacles. I feel like Spirit's really trying to like go off on this whole other tangent, but I'm going to have to pull it in here. And I do hope this reading served everyone. This Knight of Pentacles, this is a guardian angel. Someone is looking out for you. For those of you that hung until the end, there is somebody in spirit who is guiding you right now on your journey. And there's someone you can count on. Maybe just start talking to your loved ones in spirit. You know, you can call it prayer, you can call it meditation, you can call it journaling out loud, whatever. Just see what comes up. Start processing. You'll find your way. And if you need more help, I offer spiritual guidance in all my readings, and I'd be happy to help you. To the best of my ability, of course. So, looking forward to working with you. Alright, as one last bonus here. I don't think I'm going to pull an oracle and do a psychic read on it.